Okay. Oh, I gotta update a lot of stuff. I gotta update a lot of stuff. Mm.
You fuck off to the bookshop, read How to Cook a Mushroom Tobacco Sandwich.
Yeah, have a great catch up on the boys, Crow. Thank you so much. Are you on PC, Devins? Because you could probably see it better than I can. Are you on PC? Yeah. So if you look right under the video, like in the panels, it'll tell you. Yo, Showtime, what's up, man? Welcome on in.
He made a little tiny man. I made a little tiny man. I'll mop this floor. He'll mop this floor. He'll lick his feet. I'll lick my feet. Now I'm finna mop.
Dwight, welcome on in.
Now let me see you mop.
I gotta fix my camera. All right. Man, I owe it to people like you, Devins. I owe it to everybody basically, man. Like, thank you guys, man. Yeah. Yo, Groovy, what's up? Yeah. 5 today's been pretty lit. Let's fucking go. That was the wrong button. I meant to press the kids cheering button, man. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yo, I'm doing today I'm doing well. I wasn't doing well like 2 days ago, but today I'm doing well. Today I would say I'm like a 4.5. I had a pretty busy day today, man. I went out, got some chores done, like laundry and shit. Went over, visited my nephew, played some college football with my nephew, and then played some NBA 2K with my nephew. And then after that, we actually started throwing the football and actually playing real basketball. So that was dope. Then I went and I took him to get some like acai bowls and smoothies. We chilled, we talked a bit. Came back home. I was exhausted, but I took a little nap, and then I decided, you know what, I'm gonna go live because I owe you guys a stream. I'm not gonna stream for long today, though. Yeah, man. Also, Jessa, I don't know if you're still there, Jessa. I want to say thank you, Jessa. So, guys, I don't know if I don't know if you were here my other stream. But last time in my other stream, I was wearing a hat that says "Send nudes." And when Jessa came in, I was like, "Yo, Jessa, send me some nudes." Yo, she literally on Snapchat sent me some nudes, man. It was pretty dope. I don't know what kind of sauce she had her noodles in, but I think I got everything. All right, I think we got everything working. You just sent me a new yo, Bree. Happy belated birthday. Yeah, everybody say happy birthday to Bree Cosplays. Yo, Bree, I need a sound effect from you. I need a sound effect, man. So that when you come in, you know, you stunt on these hoes. You know what I'm trying to say?
If you vote for me, all of your wildest dreams will come true.
Just like that, man. Vote for ecstasy. Ecstasy is for the people. Also, big shout out to the Goth
My
Mommy.
nipples are hard as diamonds right now.
Big shout out to the Goth Mommy Masika for putting me up on this band, man.
Pause the music.
Oh my god, Ray, thank you so much, Ray. I'm gonna.
We got him.
Ray.
Hell yeah.
Guys, continue to ignore Ray the Great. By the way, we're still ignoring Ray the Great. Let Chef Devins know he stretches that meat though, man.
Interrimo ad appare dorime. Ameno, ameno, lanciremo.
Yo, I was about to give Ray mad praise, and then all of a sudden I hear
100, let's fucking go.
all of a sudden I hear these nuts. Ray always just came out of nowhere. These nuts.
100, let's fucking go.
We got it. We got
100, let's fucking go.
I don't know, but it could fucking do it, man. Bless up in chat, everybody. Yo, Bunny, how you doing? How you feeling today, Bunny? Yo, Bunny, what do you mean you're late?
These cashews.
She's slurping on my nuts. She's slurping on my nuts.
Bunny, I only started streaming 13 minutes ago. I'm gonna take a hit for Ray. I'm gonna take a hit for Devins. For real, man. Not even 15 minutes and we hella outside. Thank you guys so much for the support. I appreciate you guys.
We outside!
How's everybody feeling today, man? Don't tell me that's not working.
Wow.
Let's try again, Boney. No, it does work. Also, did I forget to mod Boney again, or is Boney already a mod? No, Boney's already a mod. Yo, yeah, I heard the news, man. It's Jover. Joe Biden steps down, backs up Kamala. Boney ain't got no knees. That's why he can't pray at church. That's crazy. Honestly, with Jackson here, if Funky comes in, his chances get lowered that much more significantly as well. I say with Jackson here, Boney has about maybe an hour and a half left of being a mod before something happens. Jackson. Yes, I mean, you're right, Joe Jackson. You ain't never. All right, so guys, I had no active plan today. I didn't know what to do today. So I was thinking, It's gonna be a short stream today, maybe 3 to 4 hour stream. And I was thinking, let's clean up some of these platinums that we still need to get, right? So I was thinking of starting with Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I think with Jedi Survivor, I only need like 3 or 4 more trophies. Shouldn't be hard. They're more so like collectible trophies. Yeah, we're at 49 of 54, so I only need 4 more trophies. So we're gonna clean some of those up today. Parry a pull force resisting enemy. Find space for a full garden. Gotta purchase all Doma's merchandise. 1, 2. 1, 2. Equip all perks, okay. All right, those are the only 4. I'm an active plan. Ayo, Bunny. Bunny, just tell me. Bunny, just tell me. Just tell me you're trying to fuck, Bunny. Like. All right. So, before I play this, I have to let several people know, like Bunny, keep it down, because I know that Cal Kestis does things to some of these people. I'll use the force on them cheeks, cut. Yo. I'm mad, yo. You know what you haven't used in a minute, bro? You haven't used fucking rapid fire, bro. My man hasn't used his rapid fire command in a minute. Damn, my man forgot the one command that's...
Cal is ass with the skid marks.
Damn. All right, I'm not gonna do new Journey Plus yet. I want to continue the old joint because I gotta fill up my garden. All right, what's the name of that trophy? Hold on a second. Your boy already forgot the name of the trophies. No, that's perk of the job. Growth spurt.
He's pulling his cock out!
All right, so apparently this trophy description is misleading. So I don't have to fill up the whole garden. I just need to plant at least one of every plant in the garden, and there are 10 different plants. So I got to go to my garden and check. remember the controls in this game. How do you... Is that how you use the force? Throw back. To parry is this. When you meditate, can I... Is that fast traveling when you meditate? Have you met Garden? I don't know if you met Garden, bro. Bree, you want man bun? All right, Bree. Bree, I want you to tell me how we gonna style him up.
I just don't think there's anybody better. Really? You got it.
Yo, Ace!
You got it. Hey, thank you. Look at us. Hey, look at us. Look at us. Huh?
What an absolutely incredible combo. Love your man. Keep up the
Thank
good
you so
work.
much. Thank you so much, Ace. All right, guys, because it's Bree's birthday, we're gonna try to make Bree wet. Okay, guys. So, Bree. Oh wait, that's the workbench. How do I? Customization. All right, we're gonna customize Cal. We're gonna do hair. All right, Bree. Bree, which one of these makes you squirt, Bree? You said man bun. Center part, crew cut. Bun? This one, man bun? Man bun, full beard. I mean, the girl knows what she wants, man. All right, short beard, full beard. All right, so we had the full beard down. We just didn't have the man bun. All right, so man bun, full beard. Guys, take notes if you're trying to shoot your shot at Bree cosplays. Man bun, full beard. Anything outfit-wise, Bree? I wish, so they have...
Tell her I can cook too.
Okay, so we have outfit options, and then within the outfits, oh, these are all the new stuff I unlocked. Never mind. So okay, so jackets. Let's start from the beginning with the jackets. All right, so jackets, we have Survivor. Now, granted, with each jacket, right? Maybe the jacket with the goggles. This one? Yeah, okay. And then we have different colors for that jacket. Brown, like this is more like burgundy, or you mean this one? You said yeah to the burgundy or to the other one? Not burgundy. Okay, so yeah to this one. Okay, so we got the jacket down. Next, shirt on the inside. All right, so we got the Survivor shirt, we got a tactical shirt, a bomber, a scrapper, and keep in mind, so any shirt, as long as it's black on the inside, Rebel Hero. It's got blue, so you want black. All right, so we got Rebel Hero, which is black. What else do we have? We got the bomber, which is also black. Oh, and the bomber gives you gloves too. So the bomber changes the gloves color too. Tactical. Black tactical. Does tactical give you? Yeah, tactical also changes gloves color too. So you want black tactical. That's what you want. These are both of these are black, except one has yellow gloves and one has brown gloves. All right. So we got tactical black. I like the t-shirt look. Wait, okay. The t-shirt look. Which one was the t-shirt? This one, the Rebel Hero? Oh no, what I had was fine. Okay, so black tactical. This one. The black tactical. Yeah, okay. And now, oh, now we got pants. All right, so we got pants. We got survivor. We got tactical, bomber, scrapper. This one looked like cowboyish. Outrider, metal knee pads. Commander just got mad stuff on it. Wanderer. Looks like he got like a shirt around his waist. Remember, you could change the color in these things too. You got the hunter. Duff, don't stop! I'm about to come! No, Duff here. We got the regular Jedi pants. Rebel Hero. Scoundrel and the Hermit. We're doing good, Duff. We're doing really good. Right now, Bree is literally giving every man in this freaking room the blueprint to making her wet. So I hope people are taking notes. You said the first one of the first two. Okay, so we got survivor and we got tactical. Is there a specific color? She did say that, Duff. Don't listen to her. She did say that. What's the third? The third is bomber. That's tactical. That's survivor. And then remember, colors could change. Remember that. So we could go with this. We go that. The colors can change. All right, we're going with the third. Yo, Sketch. Yankee with no brim. These ones right here. These ones, a darker color, because these are lighter. That's darker.
Holy shit, look at them buns!
Yeah, these ones right here. Okay. Guys, Bree cosplay will be at TwitchCon this year. And dress like this, man. And you're going to have a chance. When COVID hit, I let Nash give me a cut and I looked like bro. Oh, wait, what happened to my fucking beard? Oh, no. Okay, the beard is there. Never mind. All right, so here we go. We got this. Everybody took notes? Guys, this is your chance. Take your screenshots right now. Everybody take your screenshots.
I can try the beard and bun, but how do I change myself into a white man?
Yeah. That's a tough question, Boney. I mean, there are bleaching options out there. There are bleaching options out there. Black Magic Year. What's up, Queen? All right. So.
Ooh, now that's girthy.
Now we got to check on the garden real quick. How do I? I don't remember what I used to. Does anybody remember? No, that's him shooting. Does anybody remember how to do the grappling hook shit?
This dude looks like an art school graduate ready to start his Starbucks job application.
Oh wait, did I almost do it? Oh, it's L2. It says L2 when you get close enough. All right. We'll try that again. We'll try that again. I definitely didn't have the time to save, Boney. I definitely did not have the time to save. Does the game? No, the game doesn't auto save, does it? No, it doesn't, because I remember I had to save very often when I was playing on the hardest difficulty. I had to save very often.
I just don't think there's anybody better.
All right, so it
Really?
auto saves.
You got it. You got it. Hey, thank you. Look at us. Hey, look at us. Look at us. Huh?
Holly!
Look at us.
Yo, Holly is my savior and my queen. Holly, welcome on in. All right.
I'm excited. Yeah. Ready to party.
Got the full beard. Trying to remember what it was. Bomber, brown. It was it tactical? Tactical brown, pants. One, two, three.
Never gonna surf that dick. Never gonna smack my ass. Never gonna.
All right, we got him. I haven't made it yet. I've been slacking big time. As soon as I open up OBS, there's so many things I need to update, Jax. So I've been slacking. Oh shit! I don't remember how to do this. Okay.
A new specimen? Fascinating. Finish planting it, and I'll tell you what I know.
Does it have to do with the way that Bree dressed him up? Like, is he too sexy for the game now? Like, what's going on?
Herb Alpert go stupid funk 6 vibin.
I mean, you're not wrong though, Funk. The man bun is too powerful. Never in my life will I ever have a man bun again, bro. I grew out a man bun just to prove everybody that I could still fucking grow my hair. And then as soon as I was able to, I chopped it off. That shit was a bitch. I like practicality, man. I don't like having to. I don't know, man. I just in and out, man. In and out. I could still grow my hair out, bro. I could still grow my hair out. It's just that, no, I don't. It's practicality, man. I like. All right, let's try this again, guys. So we've got the bun. Yo, imagine I search online and they say, hey, if you have this combo on combinations of how Cal looks, you can't play the game. All right, where the hell is the meditation spot? How do I say this so I don't have to keep doing this? Where's the meditation spot? Oh, there's one inside the ship, right? There's always a meditation spot inside the ship. All right. This should save. I have a skill point available.
Hey, look!
That's just the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Beautiful. Oh.
You like you say nah mean 4 times in every sentence.
Ray, put the emote again, Ray. These nuts one. That's the one that she can't see, right? Put these nuts, because she should be able to see it right here. There we go. I don't know if you see it right there. There's SpongeBob right there. And he's like these nuts. Or we could do it better. Hold on. Everybody just oh yeah. Everybody spam these nuts real quick. Rocky, welcome on in, Brody. There we go. This is these nuts. Right there. Imagination. All right. Okay. All right, so apparently I have a new species of plant.
Ah, was hoping you'd find seeds like that. Put one in the ground. I'll share.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. We're gonna delete it, and we're gonna reinstall it. How long is this installation gonna be? I don't think it's gonna be that long. All right, so while we're waiting, how's everybody doing? That's those are exclamation marks. I don't know if you were around yesterday for the big Neon Nexus event, but every member of Neon Nexus has a letter emote. Mine happens to be the exclamation mark because I have been dubbed the statement of the team, the exclamation mark of the team. So basically, I am period. Basically. So those are exclamation marks. So if you're sub to everybody and you spell out Neon Nexus and then there's 3 exclamation marks at the end. Cha 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 cha. Also, Glitch, welcome on in. How we doing? How we feeling today, man? Flash, what's up? How you doing, bro? Sloth has an S. Rad Does Games has the letter X, I think. Maddie Braun has the letter E. Thorman Gunner has the letter O or the letter U. Yeah. God damn it, Funk. You been feeling it too today? Yo, were you working today, bro? Wait, people still play Guilty Gear, bro? Like, I downloaded Guilty Gear. I have it, bro. Well, I don't have it downloaded. I do have the game, though, in my library. I have Guilty Gear. Sort by A to Z. Should be around here. Wait, do I not have Guilty Gear? I bought Guilty Gear to fight, to play with Art in them, and they never ended up playing. At least I thought I had it. Guilty Gear has taken over Mortal Kombat's spot. Yo, has anybody been watching Evo? I was watching a shitload of Evo today because today was Third Strike, Street Fighter Third Strike, and yo, it was a good time. I was watching a little bit of it yesterday too because Miss Jonesy, one of my favorite streamers and dope ass friend of ours who we've raided into many a times. She's actually a participant in Evo. She's doing both Guilty Gear and she's doing Street Fighter 6. So she had a match yesterday. She actually won her first match. So GG's to Miss Jonesy. Oh no, Flash! It finally happened. Damn. Yeah, everybody send Super Flash some fucking love, bro. Send Flash some love, man. He lost somebody very close to him and his dad. How's your dad holding up, bro? And I'm about to break. Yo, be there for your dad, man. Your dad's got to be an absolute wreck. I could only imagine. I wanna. The thing with PlayStation though is like if I play another game, the download goes so much slower. We only got 6 minutes left. That's not bad. You gotta go outside. All right, give me 1 second, guys. I'm gonna go and let Zella out, but I'll be right back. I actually might bring myself some pizza because why the fuck not?
Dorime, interrimo ad appare dorime. Ameno, ameno, lanciremo, dorime. dorime, interrimo ad appare dorime, ameno, ameno, lanciremo, dorime.
I mean, she gave me, and then I gave her some. I do, yeah.
What you doing out here with all this ass? Double cheeked up on a Thursday afternoon, hella ass.
He's pulling his cock out!
Yo, Funky, don't play with Jax.
I do want to go on record and say, don't fuck with me.
Shut the fuck up!
Funky, don't play with Jax right now. Jax already has you, like, Jax is waiting for the command to be made to just hit you with it, even if you don't do shit, because you're already on borrowed time. Oh, okay. Says I'm ready to wait. What happens? 16 more minutes left. All right, let's vibe and talk. I got Sicilian pizza yesterday. So to celebrate me, I know this sounds so fucking weird, but to celebrate me, because I was telling chat earlier that, so I haven't like weighed myself in a
He's
while.
snacking on my stretched meat from earlier.
I haven't weighed myself in a while because I'm not going to go off of numbers. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to weigh myself and like obsess over numbers. I'm just going off based on how I look and how I feel, right? When it comes to this like new weight loss journey. And so yesterday I had this like Dragon Ball shirt, size medium ass Dragon Ball shirt that I could not, it fit like a fucking crop top when I put it on back, right? I put it on yesterday. Your boy fits in a schmedium now, so I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna just celebrate by getting pizza.
We outside!
Nah, the Big Rick energy's staying, bro. The Big Rick had nothing to do with my size. It had to do with the energy that I put out. Which now that I'm getting slimmer and stuff, like my energy is gonna be a lot more, you know what I mean? I won't be falling asleep on stream like that. I'll be the first one to tell you, Devins, I was not blessed with length, bro. I was blessed with girth though, but not length.
Wow, now that's girthy.
I'll be the first one to tell you that. Funky, keep it down. Exactly, Devins. Yes, tree trunk energy. Literally. Yo, Devins. I got a hat that says yes chef on it. I'll probably wear that next stream. I felt like wearing the red flag one because it summons all the nasties and all the sucias, you know what I mean? Masika is the red flag of red flags, man. I love that woman though. That woman is a true ass friend, bro. How are we? 11 minutes left, okay. That's not bad. Oh, guys, by the way, next week, you might catch me streaming a couple of extra days because next week is gonna be a mental health game week where I'm gonna be playing games that deal with a lot of mental health issues and triggering events. Games such as Little Misfortune, because I never got to play Little Misfortune. Another game is this game called Night in the Woods. All right, Night in the Woods is a nice cutesy game. So all the games that I'm going to be playing are cutesy looking games that deal with like really, really traumatic shit. So let's view the page of this game. This game has blood, drug reference, fantasy violence, language, sexual themes, use of alcohol and tobacco. And then there is a third game that I'm going to play made by the same developers. And it is called, you know what? I should download it right now, actually. Shit, what was the name of the game? What was the name of the game? And then another game that's the other game I'm gonna play is called Fran Bow. This game too, made by the same developers, has blood and gore, partial nudity, sexual themes, use of drug and violence. So I'm gonna be playing those 3 games, cutesy games, but these cutesy games are gonna hit hard. So I understand that.
Did someone say cock?
Literally, no one said cock, but I do understand if during some of these games you guys have to take a step out because they have to deal with real life shit. No, that's okay, guys. In order for someone to log into my PlayStation account from somewhere else, no matter if it's PC or on another PlayStation,
show at this time.
I got 2-factor authentication, man. It gets sent right to my phone. My shit is ironclad. So wait, you play Frambo already, Steel? So this idea was given to me by actually Masika, now that we're talking about it. Cause me and her were having a conversation and we were talking about mental health shit and whatnot. And yeah, she put me up on Frambo and she put me up on Night in the Woods. And I was like, yo, these games remind me so much of Little Misfortune. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna knock all 3 of them out next week. We'll probably try to get the platinums to them too. I should look up Celeste, like the platformer Celeste, like the one that took Maddie fucking forever to platinum. That's Celeste Boney. I'll play that. That shit's right up my alley. I love playing platformers like that. Smile for me. Yo, Jax, put me up on shit, man. Smile for me. Fantasy violence, mild blood, mild language, suggestive themes, use of alcohol and tobacco. Oh shit. Hey yo. I feel like I gotta be high as fuck to play this game. It's kind of creepy. I'm not even gonna I'm not even in front. It's kind of creepy. I like it though. All right, so I wish list it. Right? Did I put it on my wish list? Is it? All right. And what was the other game you said? Children of Silent Town. This just has mild language, so this one looks more chill. This gives me like oh my god, I love the art style already. It's very, I don't know, it reminds me of Tim Burton, at least with the characters. I dig it. I dig it. Boy's gonna wish list this one too. You were asking if, and if you're doing Fran, this will hit. Look up Happy Game. Okay, got you. I got you right now. So I definitely want to do Little Misfortune, Night into the Woods, and Frambo, and then if I have time in that week after to add another game, I'll add another game. Happy Game. No, Happy Game is not on PlayStation. No, I haven't played Spiritfarer yet, and when I do play Spiritfarer, I have to tag M the flamethrower like 1,000 times in the Discord because M wants to see me play that. Moon Scars is one word. Oh, there it is. Oh, it's included? Actually, before I look at that. Blood and gore, mild language, partial nudity, violence. Yo, why does this give me throwback Castlevania vibes, bro? Damn, he's walking around with a big ass sword like Guts from fucking Berserk. And it's from Humble Games too. Yo, Humble Games is out here right now. Okay, hold on. Your boy about to. I mean, how many gigs is this? I should have space. All right. We got games, man. We got games. All right. We're going. Damn. Damn, that game was. The fuck? That game was already downloaded? Damn. Damn. That game didn't even let me get my shit off. You're waiting on an open world Castlevania game, bro. Castlevania is so fucking good, man. So Bree cosplays just DM'd me. She just DM'd me her entrance sound, right? I don't know what it is. All I see though is ass blasted MP3. That's literally all I see as the download title. Ass blasted MP3. I have no idea what to expect, but I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. Hey, yo, Devins, he sent me nudes. Allow it. Allow it. Oh, my God. Thank you, Devins. All right. Hopefully the game doesn't fucking jerk us anymore.
Excellent. A new species. Plant it. I'll explain it to you.
Where can I plant it?
Ah, I was hoping you... Lurking in the shadows! I'll share what I've learned.
Got new seeds to plant.
Oh, it's okay, Tiff. Thank you so much for sending the love. Seriously, thank you so much. All right, chat. Can you guys help me out here? One person. Is anybody like one person that's available to like type stuff for me? The name of the plants that I already have planted. So in chat, type Bluebell Squish. Type Kobo Spiker, because I got those. Cactus Ball. Golden Light Moss. All right, we already got Bluebell. We got Kobo Spiker. We got Golden Light Moss already. And Cactus Ball. All right, so we got those. Next, we have Fire Pineapple. Tuber Maw. That's a Tuber Maw. Spine Fluff. That's another Spine Fluff. That's a Fire Pineapple. What's this one? This one is Crimson Jelly Spire. We got Tuber Maw. And we already have Bluebell Squish was already from back there. Okay.
Hey, yo!
All right, so we got that. And then over here we've got.
All right, ready to do some
We
gardening?
already got Crimson. We got Fire Pineapple. We got Spine Fluff already. We got Cactus Ball. We do have Golden Knight. Okay. Cactus Ball, Spine Fluff.
Nice fucking model!
All right, so we have all the ones. Okay, so then what the hell do I need to plant? Let's go over here. Spine Fluff, Pine Fern. We do not have Pine Fern. So let's plant some Pine Fern.
A new species for the garden. Let's talk to Peely about it.
All right, so Pine Fern planted. Next,
When plants grow, you grow.
we got Bluebell. We got Spine Fluff. We got Tuber. We have Palm Fruit Shell. No, we do not. This is another one that I gotta plant.
Let's plant this here.
All right. And then we have. We got Cobalt Spiker. We got Cactus Ball. And Crimson Jelly Spire. Okay, so we got everything but those ones. All right, let's see now.
That fruit shell will be wonderful when it flowers. The wide-brimmed leaves provide shade for the thin stem, which can blister in the heat very easily, you know. A pine fern. Delightful! Its foliage shifts colors with the temperament. Quite dazzling. I wonder what color it will display on Kobo. You clearly have a talent for this, Cal.
Thanks. Reese taught me a little. How long you been gardening?
Since I was a child, I've always enjoyed the company of plants. In my adolescence, I joined a well-respected nursery. My work became a passion, and I soon stumbled upon an innovation.
What was it?
Hybridizing diverse genotypical specimens with novel macrocosmetic environments. A mouthful, yes. I mean that I developed a talent for growing new plants in new places.
Well, these specimens are lucky to have you here.
That's what they tell me.
Grease is going to teach me how to cook.
I hope you're a better chef than I am.
Why?
I never put the time into it.
Your parents didn't teach you?
I didn't know them very well.
Oh. I think I understand.
Let's sow some new seeds.
Gardening is creation.
Here, BD.
All right. I still didn't unlock that. All right. So all right, we have all the plants listed. Data bank. Wait, 10 out of 10. I got all the plants. So how come I did not get the trophy? And Jessa, what's up, Queen? I said hi to you earlier, but I think I was muted. I'm sorry, Jessa. Welcome on in, beautiful. Oh, Jessa. Also, thank you for sending me the nudes. Why didn't I get the trophy?
Keely? How old are you?
Why do you ask?
Because you know a lot of stuff. And I don't.
You will learn. Do you know how trees grow?
Do I have to fill up the garden?
One ring at a time, Kata. One ring at a time.
Maybe I have to fill up the whole garden?
Get to growing.
Plants are so pretty.
Yes, they are.
Ricardo, which Jedi is this?
This is Jedi Survivor.
He passed. He's gone.
Not gone, Kata.
Why? Am I still under
New plants grow.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I got it, Jax. Don't worry. Okay.
Good spot to grow.
How am I supposed to grow my garden all the way?
The plants need me.
I understand that, but how do you get the damn trophy? Okay.
Can I climb on the vines?
I'd rather you don't.
Why not?
Because you are growing by the minute. I can practically see you sprouting.
I am?
Oh, yes. And I don't know how much longer those vines will be able to hold you.
All right. Actually, it makes sense that you guys watch it with me since I'm streaming. So. Rat Queen was good.
Let's move.
All right, recruit Pilly. We already recruited Pilly. Plan C 1 of 10. Lurking in the shadows. Funky, thank you for the lurk. Yo, Funky, whenever you can, let me know when you're ready for these like next emote ideas, man. Okay, so I got Pine Fern. Golden Light Moss. Okay, got that.
We're gonna pull it like a pilgrim.
Decent, blessing, money, testimony. Go to follow, you can go. Decent, good news.
You guys want to see my light?
Yeah.
You guys want to see my lightsaber? God damn it.
Is this what you want? I'll do anything.
No, God!
I did a Cass.
First of all, thank you so much for the follows. Right
He's pulling his card out.
Big bag. Yeah, my bag is loaded up with snacks and different foods. Squeeze into this tiny shirt, my big bag has no room.
Holy shit, look at them buns!
That's Candy's intro.
We outside!
That's Candy's intro sound.
Welcome to fucking.
Welcome on in, guys. Raiders, welcome on in. Hold on a second.
Hey, yo!
I know that's right.
That's the wrong.
I wanna take you for a ride.
There you go.
Nice call.
How we feeling today, everyone? Fox, how was your stream?
For science.
We've been trying to reach you concerning your car's extended warranty. You should have received something in the mail about your car's extended warranty. Since we have not gotten a response, we are giving you a final courtesy call before we close out your file. Press 2 to be removed and put on our do not call list. Press 1 to speak with someone about possibly extending or reinstating your car's warranty.
I was gonna show you guys my lightsaber, but because OBS had an update, it's messing with everything. So there's a lot going on, but it's organized. It's good. Fox, how was your stream? The Six Crow, welcome on in, man. What's up? How you doing? How we feeling? Britt, please. What's up, Queen? How's every?
That's just the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
Mercado, welcome on
You
in.
look
V-Dog.
like a forgotten BB Kids character.
One more astronaut, welcome on in. Dark Alice, everybody, hello. Darby, what's up, bro? A little late there, Ray, but I like the effort. Welcome on in, everyone. That picture is just horrible, bro. Fox, talk to me, bro. How was your stream? Save me, Fox. Welcome on in, everybody coming in from the Badass Crew of Badassitude. How's everybody doing? I hope you're all doing well. You guys are tuning into a very, very short stream. We're just gonna I only have like 4 trophies I need to get for Jedi Survivor, so we're just cleaning up trophies today. I don't normally stream on Sundays, but I owed you guys a stream because I did a stream yesterday.
What size shirt you're wearing tonight?
Oh no! This is a large. This is a size large, but I mean it fits like there's a lot of room. Like the large is looking large on me. You know what I'm saying? Your boy is on a weight loss journey, and I can finally fit on size medium shirts now, Fox. I'm not saying that I'm out here, Fox, but
we outside.
Like, bitch,
Put the word out there.
I'm fucking fly.
We back up.
We definitely back up.
Schmeat.
You guys are about to see me in Chicago wilding out, schmeed out in the schmedium. The last time I weighed myself, Fox, I was down 38. But I haven't weighed myself in a minute because I don't want to obsess over numbers. So all I really did was, and thank you so much, Britt. Thank you so much. All I'm doing right now is just changing habits, eating habits, keeping this body moving, because body in motion stays in motion. And I'm using little tricks here and there. Like I got this like sauna suit and stuff. So whenever I go out to play football with my nephew and stuff, I wear the sauna suit, and I'm probably almost as wet as Hans Bula when I wear that suit. So just saying.
Wow.
I'm a 420 today for real. Got a new cart. So me high. Yo, I love that. Yo, Hans Bula. If you guys are playing, man, today, later on tonight, show, I don't know if Flash told you yet, but show Flash a little love, man. Because what happened, what he was afraid was gonna happen, happened, and so like he's feeling a little down today. Yeah, Britt, you get to meet me. I kind of invited myself, but then after that I was welcomed with open arms. So, I'm definitely gonna be there. I'll rip one out for you guys right now too. Oh my God, Fox. Those acai balls.
Daddy, chill.
So my the way my eating has changed drastically. Like I no longer order like DoorDash and stuff, so you're not gonna catch me really eating like burgers and stuff on stream anymore. In the morning, I have my shake, my that I get from my local juice bar. At work, I usually have like an omelet that has like chicken and veggies in it. And then at night or early afternoon, I have the acai bowl that you always see me post. And then I always buy me an extra juice because at the end of the night, towards like later on at night when I start getting those cravings, like I need to chew on something, I need to eat something, I just drink the juice that I got from the juice bar, and that's it, man. That's literally what I eat every day. And now, the fuck you say? Pull up my motherfucking chat history. Wait, what?
Chew on these nuts.
You almost invited me from the start? I don't know about that. Pull up my motherfucking chat. See, when she says it with that much conviction, I'm not gonna pull up the chat history because she's gonna fucking win. I heard from a friend of mine who became personal trainer. In the morning, eat like a king. Yeah. So I was thinking of doing that too, but like I don't give myself enough time to eat like a fucking king in the morning. Because I'm usually up like very late, and then I go to work early. So like I'm never really I don't give myself time to fucking. Because believe me, man, if I had the time, I would eat like the freaking Rock. I would have like 10 pancakes with like, a whole bunch of shit around me in the mornings. And then as the day gets, I start eating lower. But she probably is. Britt. I don't know. Nice, if you ask me what if you ask me about things that happened like 2 months ago, I was in such a bad headspace, so I don't remember a lot. But Jess can call me out anytime, especially after those news that she sent me on Snap. I wish I had somewhere near me that made acai bowls. Yo, you'll be surprised, Funky. Like, just look up acai bowl. You live right by the freaking beach, bro. There should definitely be somebody. Nah, yo, Candy, remember when we was playing Moving Out, and the hat that I had on was the sending nudes hat, and I was like, yo, Jessa, like, send nudes. Yo, I after I got off stream, I checked my Snapchat and I got a snap from fucking Jessa, and I was like, what is this? Yo, some of the creamiest fucking nudes I've ever seen in my life, bro. It looks so, my God. It looked like it sounded good. You know what I'm saying, Candy? You know what I'm fucking saying? Listen, Fox, you have to give credit where credit's due, man. Son of a bitch, who? Art! I got chicken shawarma for dinner tonight, stuffed with vegetables. Yo, oh my God, that sounds so good. Yo, you don't understand. So being that I am in this like weight loss journey, I've been able to look at like the most grotesque, but at the same time, most beautiful foods I've ever seen in my life. I've been able to look at them and just like not feel the urge to like eat them. It sounds wrong, but like I just been sending people so much food shit. When I tell, yo, you know what? We gotta take a little time out here. Guys, you know what? I don't want you guys to see my fucking, hold on a second. I'm gonna log into Instagram real quick. Yo, we about to big back the shit out of this right now, guys. All right, so this is what I mean, guys. This is what I mean. I've been able to look at some of the wildest food. Oh my God.
Japanese beef patties, caramelized onions, and cheddar cheese are stacked, sliced in half, and fried in pure Wagyu fat, unleashing a whole new level of umami. This is Japan's Wagyu fat fried cheeseburger. 100% Japanese beef patties, caramelized onions, and cheddar cheese are stacked, sliced in half, and fried in pure Wagyu fat, unleashing a
none of the.
Sausage meatballs stuffed with cheese, stuffed inside garlic bread for lasagna dip. I'm starting off with some Italian sausage and cutting it into 16 equal pieces. Flattening that out, and then adding a piece of mozzarella string cheese and rolling it into a ball. Then I'm cutting up some pizza dough into 16 pieces.
So the fucking meatballs have a stick of mozzarella inside of them!
Flattening that out and stuffing the sausage inside of it and rolling it out, making sure to keep a little piece showing so that it can peek through when it bakes. Then I line this 14-inch skillet with all those balls, and in the center, I add a cup and a half of my favorite marinara sauce, a cup and a half of grated mozzarella, and a few dollops of ricotta cheese. On top of that goes some dried parsley, and then I paint each ball with some garlic butter and sprinkle on some Parmesan. This goes in the oven at 450 for about 25 to 30 minutes, and this is great for a gathering, especially if you want to switch it up every now and again. Obviously, lasagna is super delicious on its own, but consider switching it up. You know, stuffing your balls with some cheese. Nailed it.
I'm telling you, man, that's all I've been sending people is big back shit. Bro.
If you've never had a grilled cheese smash burger, then stick around, because this thing is definitely worth the hype. Today, I'm cooking on the new Weber Searwood Pellet Grill. This thing is such a beast. I mean, you can even remove the grapes and throw on their grill sauce. So sick. We're going to start off by making a bacon jam. It's a little sweet, a little savory, and a little spicy, but perfect for this smash burger. After we finish the bacon jam, we can get started on smashing that 80-20 ground chuck. Get the burgers a little seasoned and a flip, top with some cheese, and get the
This is my fucking love language, chat. I just found out something about myself, and this is my love language. Like, if you send me shit like this, I know I'm not gonna eat it. I might masturbate to it, but I know I'm not gonna. I'll probably eat it like once a month. But this is my love language.
Grilled cheese buns going. Once ready, we're gonna assemble straight on the.
You know what else I like to see too? You see over here in the fucking bottom, liked by Cotton Candy. I like that shit. I like that shit.
Griddle. Start with some burger sauce, those beautiful patties, that bacon jam, more sauce, and top grilled cheese bun. You can check.
Bro, it's got fucking bacon jam in it. What is bacon jam?
Got the full recipe in the caption. Let me know if you make this and follow me for more. If you've never had a grilled cheese smash burger, then stick around.
So it's a fucking burger whose 2 buns are grilled cheese. Chat. This is the kind of shit Yensid, bro. This is the kind of shit, man. Like this is my algorithm right now, bro. Like this is and I'll send you anything related to food.
So what do you consider a perfect foreplay?
Wings, lasagna. Hold on, I see it now. Baked macaroni and cheese.
This is the foreplay?
The foreplay, right? So I got one more, and lamb chops. That's the best foreplay because you put them right there in the middle of it, and then you let the girl eat what she's supposed to eat. You ever saw a beautiful girl eat a wing?
Depends if it's flats or the.
It's the flat.
It's always flat.
The whole thing, pause, goes in the mouth. You feels me? Pause. No did it, but goes in the mouth and it disappeared with bones.
Damn, little lady, you sure can't put it away.
Amazing. That's the best part about foreplay, though.
So what do you consider a perfect foreplay?
Wings.
That's the best part about foreplay. Also, guys, I'm gonna ruin a song for you guys. I ruined the song for you. Anyways, back to other shit.
What do you get when you want dessert, but you also want a hot dog? Peanut butter and jelly French toast banana glizzy, obviously. For the French toast mixture, I combine cinnamon, milk, and eggs, and then I soak some top-cut hot dog buns. Then I fry them in some butter, just until they're golden brown on both sides. And have you realized that you've been peeling a banana wrong? You gotta start from the bottom. Each banana gets fitted into each French toasted hot dog bun. I hit the...
So... I don't know why I just did that, but the hot dog bun is French toast.
What do you get when you want dessert, but you also want a hot dog?
That's what I got to do to pause it. Okay.
Peanut butter and jelly French toast banana glizzy, obviously. For the French toast mixture, I combine cinnamon, milk, and eggs, and then I soak some top-cut hot dog buns. Then I fry them in some butter, just until they're golden brown on both sides. And have you realized that you've been peeling a banana wrong? You got to start from the bottom. Each banana gets fitted into each French toasted hot dog bun. I hit the top with a layer of peanut butter, then a layer of jam or jelly. I'm using strawberry. And for some texture, I crushed on some Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I invited Kyle and Eli over because they love hot dogs and peanut butter and jelly. Peanut butter and jelly banana glizzy.
A little something healthy to, whip me back into it, I think. Get my potassium levels back up.
I took such a big bite. What is this French toast? This is amazing.
Banana's basically the glizzy of the jungle. Or is it is it a beachfront? Where do bananas grow?
What do you get when you want dessert, but...
Chat.
Juicy smoked beef brisket gets aggressively chopped up to look like this. Placed onto 2 tostones, aka fried plantains, drizzled with their creamy cilantro avocado sauce, topped with pickled red onions and cilantro.
Shit,
These are the all-new smoked brisket carnita tostones from Bark Barbecue in Brooklyn, New York. Juicy smoked beef brisket gets aggressively chopped up to look like this.
You don't understand, chat. The fucking reactions that Prez gives me to is just priceless.
Me take you down, 'cause I'm going to Strawberry Fields. Nothing.
This is a chicken parm Wellington pizza, chat. Chicken parm Wellington pizza.
Is real. Me take you down, 'cause I'm going to Strawberry
Honestly, nothing is real right now, chat. Here we have, wait, ads? I'm sorry, it's okay, we have ads. Here we have chicken, bacon, and avocado. All right. He's not using just any chicken. He's using fucking rotisserie chicken, guys. Oh my God. Chat, I have content for days like this. Truffle, honey, berry, and brie grilled cheese. Truffle, honey, berry, and brie grilled cheese. First of all, hot brie cheese, bro. They put the whole fucking brie cheese. Hold on, we're gonna run that one back. They put the whole brie cheese wheel inside of it. The whole wheel. Look at that. The whole wheel inside of it.
I just don't think there's anybody better. Really? You got it. You got it. Hey, thank you.
What's goody, Brody?
Look at us. Hey, look at us. Look at us. Huh?
I'm sorry, guys. I know.
Look at
I
us.
know we got. I know we got so. I know we got so sidetracked right now, but. Oh my God. Fuck. Hold on a second. Hold on. What do we got here?
So I was craving cinnamon rolls, cookies, and brownies. So I combined all three.
I got you, Jax. I'll send them to you. This is architecture that we're seeing right now, chat. This is architecture right here. Oh my God. Oh.
So I was craving.
That's the perfect song for this right now. Cause yeah, my God. Oh, what is this? I don't even remember half of these things.
Catfish BLT on a Red Lobster.
Catfish BLT on a Red Lobster Cheddar Bay biscuit waffle. What?
Ugh. Brother, ugh.
What?
What's that?
Cheddar Bay biscuit waffles, bro. First of all, I can't even eat catfish. Okay, I can't even eat catfish. So if the catfish isn't even a thing for you guys, right? Like, just replace it with any other meat, yo. Imagine a nice smoked brisket BLT on
Mafu, if you don't send me that this instant.
Cheddar Bay biscuit waffle, bro. Come on.
The Cheddar Bay biscuit waffle, I'm really too nice. And you see how fast you saw me? That's how fast your sandwich was going. To some catfish, we're gonna hit it with an egg white, some mustard, then we're gonna slide it with some hot sauce. Then we're gonna slide it with 2 cups of flour, then we're gonna hit it with some baking powder. Then you wanna go ahead and hit it with some dry parsley. Then we're gonna slide it with some kosher salt, a little bit of garlic powder, some onion powder. Then you're gonna hit it with some baking powder because I almost forgot that. Now we're gonna slide it with some butter, then we're gonna hit it with some buttermilk. Then we're gonna slide it with some sharp cheddar cheese. Now you wanna use a spoon to kind of mix it at first, but then use your hand to like really make it come together. Heat up your waffle maker. We're gonna add some butter in there. We're gonna make the waffle. Make sure you fill up both sides too. Now this fish fry right here is really golden, bro. Golden. You don't need nothing. Now we're gonna fry the catfish nice and crispy like this. Sound like I was doing construction or something. I didn't want the sandwich to be dry, so I mixed in some mayo, some ketchup, mustard, and some hot sauce. It was alright. I like that. Now we're gonna assemble the sandwich with some bacon, some lettuce, some tomato, the catfish, hit it with that garlic butter, and you know I got a bev. Stop playing me for real. Sandwich legend, bro. Sandwich legend. Catfish BOT on a Red Lobster Cheddar Bay.
Again, if catfish isn't your thing, bro, just replace the catfish with any kind of meat. What is this? What the hell? This is a hot honey pepperoni and mozzarella stick margarita pizza made with the garlic knot crust. Bacon stuffed cinnamon rolls using King's Hawaiian. First of all, if you guys haven't had King's Hawaiian bread, bro, King's Hawaiian bread is goated. Okay, the bread itself is so fucking good. Like, you don't even need to add anything to the bread. You could just eat King's Hawaiian. Like, it is, yes, Jax, it is problematic. Now we're putting bacon stuffed cinnamon rolls using the damn bread. Here we go. Y'all hear the sound of the fucking bacon? Oh my God! Oh my God. Okay. Well, what do we got here? Yo, me and Prez, man. Hear me out. Bacon, egg, and cheese. All right. A bacon, egg, and cheese French toast sandwich. All right, and they added Garcia sausage to it. Here we go.
Kicks, yeah, your lover's an abyss for my heart to eclipse now. Might be over now, but I feel it still.
I wish they showed the process of that. I wish they showed the process of, oh my God. Oh my God. What do we got here? I don't even know what this is.
Let's make a hot honey buffalo chicken dip melt with applewood smoked bacon and fried jalapenos for some extra spice. Buffalo chicken dip will always be a crowd pleaser, but there's something about having it in sandwich form that makes it so much better. Although it's spicy on its own, I love the crispy jalapenos on it because it gave it a nice crunch and also an extra kick. And you know me, I always love a sweet and salty combo, so the hot honey balanced it perfectly. Let's make a hot honey buffalo chicken dip melt with applewood smoked bacon and fried jalapenos for some extra spice. Buffalo chicken dip will always be a crowd pleaser, but there's something about having it in sandwich form that makes it so much better. Although it's spicy on its own, I love the crispy jalapenos on it because it gave it a nice crunch and also an extra kick. And you know me, I always love a sweet and salty combo, so the hot honey balanced it perfectly.
I just realized that Aaliyah was playing in the background after watching that video like 7 times. Also,
if you had 15 minutes to finish this platter, who would you call?
do we want to go down like the anatomy of this fucking platter right now? We want to go down the anatomy of this platter because I see cornbread, I see mac and cheese, I see smoked brisket, I see ribs, I see chicken.
If you had 15 minutes to finish this platter, who would you call? If you
Duff, I have not, but Holly already put me on game. I already have that show saved. 3 fucking seasons. Best believe, Duff, that I am going to... What the hell just happened? Okay. I don't know what this is, guys. Winchesters, man. 18-year-old me could have probably done some damage to that. Oh my god. Guys, slow smoked Godzilla egg. I don't know what the fuck does that mean, but here you go. Take a walk with me, all right? Come on this journey with me right now. Ready? Here we go.
I like the way you kiss me. I can tell you miss me. I can tell it this. Not trying to be romantic, I quit it.
I don't even know what that is.
The way you kiss me.
I don't know what that is, but I want it.
I can tell you miss me. I can tell it this. Not trying to.
Like, I don't know what that is. I see lamb chops in there. I don't know what that is. I see fries. I see. For context. All right, here we go. For context. It is a whole rack of beef rib burnt ends, literally over 2 kgs of beer battered fries, cheese and barbecue sauce, and fried onion crisp. I'm just saying. I don't know what it is. I don't know. What is this?
I think I'll take my whiskey and leave. My coffee black and my bed at 3. You're too sweet for me. You're too sweet for me. I take my...
Oh.
Oreo stuff.
I need that in my mouth.
This is gonna be the last one. I don't want this to take over stream, but do not worry, chat. We have enough content to go through a whole stream with this. Like, me and Press have been sending each other so much fucking shit, man.
Cinnamon rolls, both flavor Oreos. Hold on now. Dipping it in the milk pregame. Hold on. Boys, it's getting crazy out here. Stuffed cinnamon rolls, Oreos.
Thanks for
Okay,
blueballing
Architect
us.
fried them. Wait a minute. What's now? Powdered sugar. Stop. Crushed Oreos too. Stop it. Ice.
Go to follow you to go. This yeah, good news.
Thank you so much for the follow.
Cue the music. This is outrageous. Hold up. Cinnamon rolls, both flavor Oreos. Hold on now. Dipping it in the milk pregame. Hold on, boys. It's getting crazy out here. Stuffed cinnamon rolls, Oreos. Okay, Architect fried them. Wait a minute. What's now? Powdered sugar. Stop. Crushed Oreos too. Stop it. Ice. Cue the music. This is outrageous.
Thank you guys for coming on this journey with me. Again, your boy's in a weight loss journey. There's no way in reality that I will be eating stuff like that, maybe once in a month or something. But I could now literally sit there and comfortably look at foods that are so grotesque and beautiful at the same time and not crave them. So I love where I'm at right now when it comes to, like, you know, my habits and my diet and stuff. So, but man, let me know if y'all want to come down on this journey with me again. Like, yeah, we could have a good time. We could have a good time. Did we get a shout out for Radda's Games, Shy Lost Confused, Devious Fox? Who else we got in here? We got Rat Queen Arts. We got all the friends, man. Steel. Please and thank you. Oh, somebody make sure you shout out Mr. Max Wheels too and the Jax Effect. Oh my god, man, let me tell you something. So we got all 10 plants. That we know. We got all 10 plants. So how do we make
All right, let's try planting these
Return
seeds.
to pill, interact with the garden, plant all seeds, and wait for them to grow. After they're fully grown,
Dax,
you'll
keep it down.
Oh, they have to be fully grown for me to obtain the trophy.
Seeds we found.
That's what's happening. Okay, so like the ones that we just planted right now.
Every seed is a fresh start.
The ones that we just planted right now are not fully grown.
A new species
Hence,
for the garden.
why we haven't gotten the
Let's talk
trophy
to
yet.
Keely about it. Get to growing.
Okay, I was wondering why we haven't gotten the trophy yet, but okay. So we just gotta wait for the ones that we just planted to fully grow. I ain't mad about that. All right, let's go back to the game. Thank you guys for joining me on that journey, man. Being big back is not an easy lifestyle, man. Like there is so much. How do I say this? Like distractions out there, man. There's so much distractions out there, man. Like it is not easy, man. Like Instagram is bad as a whole, man. Like whether your algorithm is filled with like, you know, big titties and big asses or food like that or like overly cute shit or kids. Yo, Milo! Can we take a moment to spam the fart command for Milo in chat, everybody? The fart command, please. Milo, this is for you, Milo. My Instagram feed is filled with... Nah, man, you got to change that feed around, bro. You got to change that feed around, man. Let me tell you something. My Instagram feed now... I've told people this right now. So there's a lot of workout inspo in my feed now. There is obviously, as you can see, the food shit. Like there's a lot of big backtivity in my Instagram feed. I have a lot of artist things, like artists drawing pictures in some of the wildest ways. And I also have I think the majority of my Instagram feed though is kids getting hurt. So, yeah. Oh, and I follow like this one dash cam. I follow this one dash cam, this one dash cam profile that like posts a lot. So they end up in my feed so much too. I'm happy for that. Are you guys on your way back, Mill, from the... Are you guys on your way back from, I have way too much Hello Kitty and Disney on mine? Oh, and I don't think I help either because I send you all the Hello Kitty shit that I see too. Okay. All right, so we just got to wait for these to grow. Which, maybe if I do the, maybe if I meditate, they'll grow. Again, for those coming in from the Fox raid and stuff, I played this game. I beat this game a while ago on the hardest difficulty. What I'm doing now is I have like 4 trophies left, and I'm just trying to clean up the trophies and whatnot. Only because I didn't stream yesterday, I owed you guys a stream, so we're gonna do a little short stream today. We're already 2 hours in. I was planning to do like a 3 or 4 hour stream. So, welcome on in. Okay. Okay, that didn't work. I guess we just gotta All right, we just gotta go and do stuff now. Okay, so I don't remember how to read this map. Where's the map? What is this? Unopened chest. Unobtained lost treasure. Unseen scan. All right, there's a couple of things that I gotta. There's an unopened chest right here. Hello? Unobtained droid upgrade. And that's right behind me. What? It's upstairs. No, where is that now? That's pretty high up. It's even further. No, thank you, Britt. Yo, and I'm excited to meet you guys, man. I'm excited to meet everybody, especially because I am no longer 100% going to TwitchCon. That whole like me going to TwitchCon thing went significantly down because there are more like my brother's birthday is on September 22nd and he's turning the big 50. He's turning the big 50. So my mom is trying to gather all the siblings to surprise my brother for his birthday out in Chile. So that takes precedence over, you know, TwitchCon and everything. Oh, this is the droid upgrade. How do I get this droid upgrade? Is there a way to... Does anybody know how to... I don't remember this game. Was there a way to like burn these vines or something? Am I missing something? Maybe with I don't know how to unlock that. I don't remember at least. Yeah, it's a big birthday. It's a big 50. It will also be the second time ever my mom has all her kids under one roof ever in her life. So that's another big thing for us. Because we all the kids never grew up together. We all grew up separately. All right, where do I get to here?
Can I smell you?
You haven't done that in a while, Sayo. Welcome on in. Welcome on in, Sayo.
Surprise.
That's a big surprise. Goes back this way. Ooh, what'd you eat over there? What'd you eat at the Thai place? Oh, that sounds good. That sounds good. Was it like a date or something, or you just went on your own? Also, there it is. I was like, where the hell? Okay.